Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on question 10, so we're almost at the halfway point. There's 20 questions in the study guide, so we're essentially at the halfway mark, so thank you for bearing with me. So next, number 10 asks us to solve this or simplify this expression or evaluate this expression. So these two, next question is these two matrices. So again, because we're multiplying, you want to check your dimensions. So this is a 2 by 2, and it has 2 rows and 2 columns. This has 2 rows and 1 column. So because our two numbers in the middle are the same, we're good. Now we have variables in this, but it still worked out the same way. So what we're going to do is, remember, go across the row, down the column. So we're going to say x times 5. That's going to be our first our first product. And then we're going to add it to 3 times 6. Then we're going to move on to the next one. That's our first row. And we're going to say 4 times 5 plus x times 6. All right, so now let's simplify. Well, we know x times 5 is 5x, and 3 times 6 is 18. Well, we know 4 times 5 is 20, and x times 6 is 6x. And we're done. All right, so we can't do anything further because we don't know what x stands for, so we're good. All right, so again, the order doesn't matter. So on the test, if you see an 18 plus 5x as your first number, you're right. If you see a 6x plus 20, you're right. Just find the one that matches that. All right, for 11, it says define the matrix. For what dimensions of matrix B is the expression AB defined? All right, so again, we count our rows. That's 3 and 2 columns. So this time, we don't want something that's exactly the same. We want something that is similar, meaning that the columns of the first matrix must match the rows of the second matrix, or rather, the second number of the first matrix must be the same as the first number of the second matrix. All right? So with that being said, the only one where 2 is the first number in our matrix is B. All right? So now we move on to question number 12. On question number 12, this is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. So we know they're compatible, so we're just going to set it up and solve it. So again, we go across the row, down the columns. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So we're going to say 2 times 3, because 2 times 3, plus 3 times 5. That's our first number. Our second number will be composed of 2 times 4, because we're on the second column now, plus 3 times 6. All right. Then we go from 4 times 3 plus 5 times 5, and then 4 times 4 plus 5 times 6. All right. So now that we have all our numbers, let's go ahead and multiply. So we know 2 times 3 is 6, and then 3 times 5 is 15. All right. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 4 is 16. And 5 times 6 is 30. So now all we're going to do is add our numbers together. So we know 6 times 15 is 21. Put a plus here, so that way you see what I'm doing here. 8 times 18 is 26. 12 plus 25 is 37. And 16 plus 30 is 46. All right, and we're done. Next, when we move on to 13. So it says the determinant of matrix A is equal to 6. Find the value of x. So we have to do two things. First of all, we got to find our determinant. So remember, our determinant formula is, and I'll write it off here to the side, A times D minus B times C. So this times this minus that times that. So we're going to say negative 2 times 4 minus x times 6. All right? So we know it's going to be negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, and negative 8, x times 6 is going to be minus 6x. But remember, it said the determinant is equal to that. We're trying to find the missing number, whatever this x stands for. So that means we're going to equal it to 6. Now, on your test, it may be 10 or 12 or whatever else, but whatever number is equal to, you're going to set it up and solve it up as a regular linear equation once you do your determinant. So we're going to add 8 to both sides and get negative 6x equals 14. We're going to divide by negative 6, and our number is going to be x equals negative 2.3. Now we can stop there, just find the number closest to your number on the test. You don't have to worry about rounding. It would actually be negative 2.33333, but just find the one closest to your answer. All right, so for number 14, asks us to find the determinant of the matrix. So again, we're going to say this times this minus this times this, which in this case is 6x minus 3x, which gives us just regular 3x. All right, so again, what I basically did here, actually, let me erase this. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. All right, I meant to say x times 6 minus x times 3, which gave us 6x minus 3x, which comes out to be 3x. All right? And lastly, move on to number 15. So we're going to say again this times this minus this times this. So it's going to be x times x minus 9 times 5. Because remember, we're going to use this formula, AD minus BC. So x times x is x squared, and 9 times 5 is 45. And that's our final answer. We can't go any further because we don't know what x stands for. All right? We're at question 15, so just bear with me for 5 more questions, and we'll be done.